Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Lamplight City. And we are here in Chester LaFay's loan office, guys. We're having to chat with Mr. LaFay about Malcolm Harris's debts, and it seems for every one person we talk to about this case, another potential suspect is revealed. It's kind of a one-step forward, one-step back proposition. Hopefully we'll be able to narrow down some potential suspects here in time. But I think we had one more question with Chester, because he got up to show us his coat, and he let us know that Malcolm has a coat very similar to his, so we'll probably need to go have a chat with Malcolm after this. But first,
I've got some more questions, Mr. LaFay.
Go ahead, then.
What do we need to ask him?
Tell me a bit about yourself and your business, Mr. LaFay.
What's to tell? I lend people money, they pay me back.
Surely it's not that simple.
Well, of course I charge interest, otherwise I'd never make a profit. I know people don't look upon the service I provide very favorably, but without my help, there would be a lot more unhappiness in the world.
How did you go about starting up this business?
I didn't. My former employer, Mr. Roth, left it to me when he passed.
That was rather good of him.
Yes, well, he didn't have any heirs, and he considered me to be the son he never had. He was fond of my family, too. I try and keep my work and home life as far away from each other as I can, though. There's a lot of things in this line of work that my wife and daughter are better off not knowing about.
I think that's all for now.
I can't say I blame him. And he's right, he is a necessary evil. There are some people who need money very desperately. Okay, well, I think that's everything here. Should we go ahead and have a chat with Malcolm about the coat first? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that before we investigate the Specter Society, because that sounds all kinds of intriguing.
Oh, Mr. Fordham. Oh, thank God you're back.
What's going on?
Our butler just brought this in. He found it stuck to the gate outside.
Oh, the ransom note finally came in. Harris family, we have your son. If you ever want to see him again, you must stop building the new airship. We are not joking. Well, that is very similar to... what's that other piece? Clues... yeah, it's the same type of writing as the letter from Arthur Devins. Your weekly remainder. That seems a little too easy, though. Mr. Harris, Harris family. It looks like we're going to go have a chat with Arthur, then. In the meantime...
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
Yes, of course.
What is your opinion of this ransom note?
It's obvious who sent it, Mr. Fordham. Why are you wasting your time here? Go arrest Mr. Devins!
Those are all the questions I had for now.
All right.
Maybe we need to check his closet. Miriam, do you have anything new to add?
I have some questions for you if you're up to answering them, Mrs. Harris.
I'll try my best, Mr. Fordham.
Do you have the same opinion?
Did you read the ransom note?
No, Malcolm wouldn't let me. He said I was already too upset.
That's all for now, Mrs. Harris.
Very well.
Okay. That's kind of suspicious. Hail to the wardrobe.
You don't suppose...
I do.
How about that?
It matches the piece of torn fabric perfectly.
So, this means...
It could mean many things. The only thing that's certain is that a piece of this jacket ended up on the floor of the nursery.
Seems like something worth asking Mr. Harris about.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, let's go have another chat with Malcolm. He's a popular guy today.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
Yes, of course.
Mr. Harris, do you recall the torn piece of fabric I found in the nursery?
Yes, what about it?
As it turns out, one of the jackets in your wardrobe has a tear exactly the same size and shape as this one. Would you care to tell me how that happened?
That can't be.
I'm afraid it is. So explain it.
I have no explanation. The truth is, I haven't worn that jacket in weeks. I've no idea how it was torn.
Are you suggesting someone else took your jacket and wore it when the child was taken?
I don't know. Perhaps someone is trying to make it look as though I... But that's absurd. Why would I kidnap my own son?
Why indeed, Mr. Harris?
You really think he kidnapped his own son, Miles? Seems more likely he was set up. But he also doesn't strike me as a terribly good parent. Maybe it would serve him right to be blamed for this. We've done our part. The police can handle the search for the missing baby.
Suspect added.
Those are all the questions I had for now.
All right.
He seemed to have legit shock, though. So I highly doubt that... Is that someone's face looking through the window? That's not creepy at all. Oh, okay, never mind. Is that just a break? Oh, that's just a break. That looked like someone was just staring through the... That would have been very creepy. Well, we got the lending office, which means we may have to go back there. The Harris Construction Yard. Let's get that out of the way before we head to the Specter Society. Robble.
Mr. Devins?
Yes?
Mr. Devins, what can you tell me about this note?
I've never seen that before in my life.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely. It's as I told you. I had nothing to do with that boy's kidnapping. I didn't even know he existed until you told me. Remember?
Yeah. And that note conveniently showed up right after you had that conversation. Let him stew in his own lies. His unique way of spelling is all the evidence we need to tie him to the note.
Very well, Mr. Devins. Forget I asked. Good day to you, Mr. Devins.
You too, Mr. Fordham. The only thing that matters to him is lining his pockets with the misery of others.
Curiouser and curiouser. Well, let's check out the SS. Or the Specter Society, rather.
I wonder if Philip's steam-powered carriages will ever make those things go out of fashion. Too dark to tell what's inside. They must enjoy the somber atmosphere.
Well, spiritualism was a really big thing in Victorian times.
Too dark to tell what's inside. They must enjoy the somber atmosphere.
It was all the rage.
I wouldn't like to have a street lamp right outside my window. Not without a good set of thick curtains, anyway.
Well, let's knock on the skull-shaped knocker.
Yes? May I help you?
A mile... Ooh.
Hello, ma'am. My name's Miles Fordham, and I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
I'm terribly sorry, darling, but I simply don't have the time right now. Perhaps if you come back next week, I'll be able to answer your questions then.
Okay.
This is the Specter Society, right? I'm interested in joining.
Ah, yes it is. Welcome, darling. Our membership process is a bit different to most social clubs. We require a sponsor.
Sounds simple enough.
Well, you see, we ask that sponsors be people who have passed on into the spirit world. Once you name your sponsor, I will attempt communication beyond the ether. When they answer, you will be judged and considered for membership.
Okay.
What are you looking for in a sponsor?
A willingness to communicate from beyond the ether. Open-mindedness, a desire for truth. In other words, all the qualities of a member of the Specter Society. Actually, we've had former members who have passed on act as sponsors before.
You're joking, right?
Communing with the spirits is no joking matter, darling. I suggest you take it a bit more seriously if you truly want to join this club. Now, do you have a sponsor or not?
Do we have one?
I've got a sponsor.
Excellent. What is the name of your sponsor, darling?
Bill... Jonathan Davis. Bill Ledger. Let's see. I'm kind of curious where this goes.
Bill Legere is my sponsor.
Seriously, Fordham? I thought you knew better than that.
Bill Legere. Very well, I will attempt to communicate with him.
She can do this all day. It's not gonna work.
I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble communicating. Perhaps you can come back and try again later.
See? Told you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I thought it was worth a shot, you know? Let's try the other name.
Oh, hello again. How may I help you?
I'd like to name a new sponsor.
Yes, of course. Who is your new sponsor?
Jonathan Davis is my sponsor.
You knew Jonathan? He was such a kind man.
That must have been the husband.
Yes, I can feel his presence, and it speaks positively of you. Please, come in, Mr. Fordham. I am Angela Maxwell, the founder of the Specter Society. Welcome.
Of the nanny, I mean.
May I offer you some refreshments? Some water or tea, perhaps?
You're very kind, but I'm afraid I must decline right now.
Well, please let me know if you change your mind.
Would you look at this place? It's like a candy store for psychics.
Oh, it's the two girls from The Shining.
Those are some creepy twin girls. I could see a passing resemblance to Miss Maxwell, actually. There's quite a few members in this group.
Angela Maxwell, Monica Brown, Sophia Shaw, Thomas Gilbert, Linda Walker, Henrietta Davis. Please ask the spirit to cure my son's illness, Sophia. Linda, looking forward to having you over into the manor next week. Come around 8 p.m. and you can meet Charlie, Henrietta. Anyone interested in youth spirit board, please let Thomas know. Thank you. Angela, the meeting was wonderful. Wait a minute. Let's look at the casebook. Miss Davis's testimony. LaFay's the common jacket. Malcolm as a suspect. Okay. Oh, we need to find Roland the musician as well. Find out more about Linda Walker. That was the name I was looking for.
There's quite a few members in this group.
Yep, there she is. Got tarot cards.
Ooh, spooky. That ghost between the two people almost manages to look convincing.
I love that we have a guy who's a ghost who's actually a skeptic at the same time. Or, you know, a spirit or something in Fordham's mind.
I think I've seen one of these before. What does it do?
It's a spirit board. We use it to contact spirits, and they in turn spell out a message with the letters on the board.
Well, I've got a message from Miss Maxwell if she ever tries to use a spirit board around me.
Good to know.
That's probably the storage case for the spirit board.
Ouija board, which is actually owned by Parker Brothers, I believe.
What a fascinating device. Exactly what does it do?
That is an etherometer. It's designed to pick up vibrations from the ether and translate messages from the spirits.
A great man once said to me, "Bill, you aren't going to get very far in life just staring at balls." He's dead now. But then again, so am I. Must be for the more traditionalist members.
Members are free to borrow books as long as you check with me first, Angela. Secrets of Astral Projection, Metapsychosis, The Art of the Seance, Terrors of the Deep, The Giant Squid, ooh, Lovecraft, Voodoo in New Britannia, Mediums, Gateways to the Spirit Realm, What Lies Beyond the Veil, The Mysteries of Spontaneous Combustion, Secrets of the Tarot, Spirits in the Aether. Astral projection refers to a willful out-of-body experience in which the soul, or astral body, disconnects from the physical body and may travel throughout the universe. The practice dates as far back as the ancient civilizations, with multiple depictions by the Egyptians of the soul, or Ka, leaving the body before death. The expression astral projection means journeying to other worlds, heavens, hells, the astrological spheres, and other imaginal landscapes. But the term is also applied to non-physical travel around the physical world. Though this usage continues to be widespread, the term etheric travel, used by some later theosophists, offers a useful distinction. Some experts say that they visit different times and or places. Etheric, then, is used to represent sense of being out of body in the physical world, whereas astral may connote some alliteration or alteration in time perception. This etheric body is usually, though not always, invisible, but is often perceived by the experient as connected to the physical body during separation by a silver cord. Some link falling dreams with projection. Other experience may describe a domain that has no parallel to any known physical setting. Environments may be populated or unpopulated, artificial, natural, or abstract, and the experience may be beautiful, horrific, or neutral. A common belief is that one may access a compendium of mystical knowledge called the Akashic Records. In many accounts, the experiencer correlates the astral world with the world of dreams. Some even report seeing other dreamers enacting dream scenarios unaware of their wider environment. Do these all? Good grief. Okay. Metempsychosis, from the Greek meta, expressing change, and psyche, soul, refers to the philosophical idea of transmigration of the soul at the time of death. That is to say, the reincarnation of a soul in another human or animal. It is thought to have originated with Orpheus in the 6th century BC. Orpheus proclaimed that the body and soul were two separate entities, chained together in life. Upon death, this bond was dissolved, and the divine soul was freed from its corporeal prison. However, until the soul attained absolute purity, it was fated to continue the cycle of reincarnation. Corporeal. Sorry, that's corporeal. Yeah, words. Deeds done in life would affect the soul's purity and determine how much longer its spiritual journey would go before ascending to heaven. The theory postulates that the soul of a human or animal will be transferred to another living being. Some characteristics or personality traits of the soul are usually preserved through reincarnations. For example, eye color or an affinity toward a particular person or item. There's some debate regarding the exact nature of the transferal of souls, and it is generally accepted that a human soul will transfer to an animal which is already alive. A soul belonging to an animal or human, transferred to a human, will enter a body at birth, and not one which is already alive. Therefore, it can be useful to confirm a suspected reincarnation if the date of death and birth of the old and new bodies is the same. One popular believed case of metempsychosis comes from medieval Germany, where two feuding families both met their ends. The last of one line was suspected of setting the other stables on fire, during which the other perished. Soon after, a white horse took up residence at the surviving family's estate. While out riding, the estate caught fire, and the horse and rider ran into the flames, killing both. It is said that the horse was the reincarnation of the murdered heir, come back to seek revenge on his killer. Nice. The art of the seance. Conducting a seance is not a matter to be taken lightly. When making attempts to contact those in the spirit realm, many precautions must be observed. The spirit medium must be in a relaxed state prior to commencing the seance. This can be achieved through meditation, prayer, or medicinal means. An agitated medium will have an extremely negative impact on the quality of the seance, and may even attract violent spirits. Violent, not violet. During the seance, the medium will act as a vessel for spirits, and pass on messages from the deceased. In some instances, a spirit board may be used. These are flat tablets, typically made of wood. On the board are a number of symbols, pictures, letters, numbers, and/or words. The board is accompanied by a planchette, French for little board, which can take the form of a pointer on 3 legs or a magnifying glass on legs. A most basic spirit board would contain simply the alphabet of whatever country the board is being used in, although it's not uncommon for whole words to be added. The board is used as follows. 1. To all the participants in the seance, place 1 or 2 fingers on the planchette, which is in the middle of the board. The appointed medium asks questions of the spirit with whom they are attempting to communicate. I've never used a Ouija board. I don't really ever intend to.
It's nice of Miss Maxwell to let people borrow her books, even if they are all just a bunch of nonsense.
I do.
And coming from me, that's really saying something.
Squids. The giant squid, or Architeuthis, is one of many terrors of the deep. It has never been seen by humans, and all evidence of its existence have been found washed ashore, or in the belly of the squid's natural enemy, the sperm whale. Researchers have theorized that the giant squid can grow as large as 175 feet, 53 meters, Beaks and tentacles have been found in the stomachs of whales, and some bear the scars and marks of suction cups. The giant carnivore has a torpedo-shaped body. It moves quickly through the ocean by using a jet of water forced out of its body by a siphon. The beast has a beak-like mouth, powerful enough to snap a steel cable in two. The tentacles extend far beyond the length of the body and feature several suckers, each surrounded by several tooth-like projections. These suckers are able to latch on to other creatures with a terrible death grip, so that even creatures like the mighty whale are brought down with relative ease. A first-hand account of an encounter with what is thought to be a giant squid is provided by Benjamin Roberts, first mate aboard the Althea. It was close to dusk. I gotta do a proper voice here, one sec. It was close to dusk. We were just off the coast of Madagascar, when the lookout directed us to the source of a terrible bellowing from the port bow. Breaching from the depths was the leviathan called the sperm whale, clearly in distress. Upon closer inspection, we noticed the poor beast was being smothered by gargantuan arms, the likes of which I had never seen. A panic erupted among the crew, and several began shouting about sea beasts and krakens. Meanwhile, the whale continued its futile struggle. I could not but feel pity for the creature as its haunting cries echoed through the air. The captain ordered an immediate change of course, and we were soon on our way, leaving the whale to its horrid fate. Artist's depiction of a giant squid. Accurate. Voodoo. The religious practices commonly known as voodoo originated in Africa, but have seen a migration to recent years. First moving to the West Indies, it spread after a revolt in Santo Domingo caused a wave of escaped and freed slaves to migrate to Vespuccia. For years, the religion was practiced in secret, but emerged as a more widely accepted faith after the abolition of slavery in 1840. Oh, 1840. They did it 20-something years. Yeah, good on them.
Chicken bones and dust for bad luck in business, huh? That sounds awfully familiar.
Oh, whoops. I right-clicked out of the... The largest concentration of practitioners of voodoo is the city of New Britannia, particularly the borough of Gascogne. Though it is at its root in African religion, voodoo has evolved in New Britannia, heavily influenced by Catholicism. New Britannia voodoo has adopted several Catholic saints and turned into a hybrid religion unique to the city. It's like New Orleans. So this pretty much is New Orleans in a lot of ways. One key factor which sets voodoo apart is the use of charms or amulets of various functions or purposes, commonly known as gris-gris. Gris-gris also originated in Africa, used mainly as a means to ward off evil spirits and bad luck. However, they have taken a darker connotation in the voodoo practices of New Britannia, and can be used to bring misfortune and suffering. Common types of gris-gris. The basic gris-gris is always contained in a leather pouch. The ingredients vary depending on the desired effects. For instance, a gris-gris designed to bring a gambler luck would contain chamois, red flannel, a shark's tooth, and dove's blood. A gris-gris for sending away an enemy contains items like gunpowder or red pepper. Usually the person's name is written on paper and included in the bag. To bring someone bad luck in business, the gris-gris contain chicken bones and graveyard dust. So we are learning stuff for the investigation in these books. Okay, well let's do mediums, gateways to the spirit realm. Communication with the spirit realm is most often achieved via the help of a medium. Fairly common practice employed to communicate with the dead is the seance, in which the medium tries to establish contact with the dead in the presence of a small to medium-sized group of people. The general opinion is that a greater amount of energy provided by living beings will establish a stronger connection to the spirit world. A medium is someone who can speak to the dead. Two types exist, mental and physical. The mental medium tunes into the spirit world and relays messages by sensing or seeing spirits. The physical medium is able to produce manifestations of spirits, apparitions, knocks, bell rings, etc., by using ectoplasm created by their bodies and the bodies of seance attendees. Gross. No one is exactly sure how the ability of mediumship is attained. Some claim to have it from birth, while others attribute it to near death or other traumatic experiences. Whether a medium can see spirits or only hear them depends greatly on their level of skill, as well as their natural attunement to the spirit realm. Some mediums claim that an increase of this attunement is possible through practice and study, while others insist that it cannot be taught and is something that is either possessed or not. What lies beyond the veil? To those who would claim what lies beyond the veil is only madness, I ask you, is it madness to gaze upon the face of the others? those who can provide us with the cosmic knowledge of the ones who came before us, where we are headed, and what purpose we serve. Look beyond. Remove the blinders of logic and reason, and embrace the unknown, for here is where the truth ultimately lies, not in some rigid textbook. You must open your mind and attune your senses in order to perceive what is really there, for beyond the veil lies all. Recently, I was speaking to a dear friend who had lost her mother just a few months prior. She told me that in the days following her mother's passing, she sensed a shift in energy in her home, a benevolent energy. She became convinced that her mother's spirit was reaching out from beyond the veil. And why wouldn't she be? Death is not the end of our beings. We may shed our physical bodies, but our souls are eternal. While we have not yet mastered the ability to communicate with the deceased, we grow closer and closer each day. Our friends and loved ones who have passed beyond the veil and into the aether have as much of a desire to speak with us again as we do with them. This is why spirit mediums are such valuable aids. Without them, we would be lost. Many are skeptical, and with good reason, but the mere fact that mediums exist should be proof enough that whatever higher power created us wanted to ensure that there were those among us who could bridge the gap between the living and the dead. The mysteries of spontaneous combustion. I've been curious about this. Spontaneous human combustion is a highly controversial subject, but remains popular among scholars and aficionados of the occult and unexplained. The term refers to death from a fire originating without any apparent source of external ignition. The fire is believed to start within the body of a victim. The 1823 book Medical Jurisprudence states that commonalities in recorded cases of spontaneous human combustion include the following characteristics. The victims are chronic alcoholics. They are usually elderly females. Their hands and feet usually fall off. The fires cause very little damage to things around the body. A residue of greasy and fetid ashes is left behind. Most physicians and investigators strongly believe that spontaneous human combustion is a product of alcoholism. Wow. Written by Wile E. Coyote. Super genius. Secrets of the Tarot. Oh, okay. The Magician. The central figure depicts someone with one hand pointed to the sky while the other points to the ground, as if to say, as above, so below. This is a rather complicated phrase, but its summarization is that Earth reflects heaven, the outer world reflects within, the microcosm reflects the macrocosm, Earth reflects God. It can also be interpreted here that the magician symbolizes the ability to act as a go-between between the world above and the contemporary human world. On his table, the magician also wields all the suits of the tarot. This symbolizes the four elements being connected by this magician, the four elements being earth, water, fire, air, heart. The infinity sign on his head indicates the infinite possibilities of creation with the will. The magician is the representation of pure willpower. With the power of the elements and the suits, he takes the potential innate in the fool and molds it into being the power of desire. He is the connecting force between heaven and earth, for he understands the meaning behind the words, as above, so below, that mind and world are only reflections of one another. Remember that you are powerful, create your inner world, and the outer will follow. The Lovers. In the Lovers card, the man and woman in the image are being protected and blessed by an angel above. The angel depicted here is Raphael, the angel of air, who is of the same element of the zodiac sign that governs this card, Gemini. Air is associated with mental activity, and communication in particular, which is the foundation for healthy relationships. His blessing seems to give this card a sense of balance and harmony, the symbolization of union in a grand and cosmic sense between two opposing forces. The primary meaning within the Lovers is harmony, attractiveness, and perfection in a relationship. The trust and the unity that the Lovers have gives each of them confidence and strength, empowering the other. The bond that they have created is very strong, and can indicate that the two are joined in marriage and other close and intimate relationships. Another meaning behind the Lovers card is the concept of choice, a choice between things that are opposing and mutually exclusive. This could be a dilemma that you need to think about carefully and make the best decision for your situation. And finally, Spirits and the Aether. The Aether, which is to say the outer void, is the primary channel through which spirits can travel and communicate with the living. This unseen dimension exists in conjunction with ours, but can only be accessed by people gifted with the sight or special communication tools. The most common tool for spirit communication is the aetherometer, When spirits wish to communicate, their messages enter our dimension as vibrations, undetectable except for the aforementioned people and tools. The aethermeter, or therometer, reads these vibrations and translates them into sounds or words, which the medium can then interpret. Spirits expend a great amount of psychic energy when they communicate, which is why most of their messages must be received via this tool. If a spirit is able to harness a great deal of energy, however, it is possible for them to cross over as a physical manifestation, or apparition. While this is slightly less common, there have been several documented cases of apparitions throughout history. With the emergence of modern ferrotype technology, it's been possible to capture images of these apparitions. Unfortunately, the long exposure times necessary to produce these images means that it is difficult to capture spirit, as they move quickly and are often only visible for seconds at a time. However, as this technology develops, it will surely be possible to capture ferrotype images in a matter of seconds, thus greatly increasing the probability of capturing the image of a spirit. Unfortunately, spirit photography is easily faked, and many fraudulent examples have arisen, at least they admit that. Due to this, it has become increasingly harder to prove the real instances of spirits captured. Once again, the lowering of exposure time will make it much more difficult to fake. It'll be interesting to see what leaps in technology will take us. Yes, indeed. But among these books, and I'm sure we probably get some more clues, we did find out what the chicken bones and ash were used for. And looks like we're going to have another chat with that gentleman at the yard. Where was it? Yeah, over at the Harris Construction Yard. And we will go ahead and do so. Oh, whoops.
Welcome back, Mr. Fordham.
Yeah, but we will go ahead and do that, guys, in the next episode. Sorry that so much of it was reading, but there was some really well thought out kind of lore and explanations there. Very impressed. But if you guys liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.